My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done.
CSS, we don't really need it. Just delete everything in the index.css, delete everything under the app.jsx, delete everything under the assets. Okay, so first I'll just say RAFCE, which will give me this snippet. If this doesn't work, that means you don't really have this extension, which is this one. Just go ahead and install it. Once you have done this, you can do RAFCE. Okay, so let's say this is our app. Now under the main.jsx, we will wrap our application with the browser router. And we will import this from React Router. Okay, now that means in our entire application, we can use the routing, right? We just wrapped our entire app with the browser router. Now we can go under the app and create our pages. So first I'll create the pages folder. Let's say we'll have the homepage.jsx and get this boilerplate code for now. Let's try to copy this, paste it twice. So we'll have the create page. .jsx, and the content is going to be again RAFCE, and then let's say node detail page. Okay, so this is going to be the content. Now let's go under the app.jsx and try to add these routes. So here I'll delete the content. Let's say we would like to return some route. Again, this is gonna be coming from React Router. Then we can add our routes. So let's say route imported. Let's say if we visit this path, which is the home page, we would like to return this element, which is going to be the home page. Let's try to self-close this, and we can import it. Let's say import home page from under the pages from this page, from this file. Let's try to duplicate it. If we visit /create, we would like to see the create page that we can. And import to return page, and now next, which is the notification line correctly, we would like to see this is what we are gonna get. Okay, so, and we're gonna put mic, so let's put colon and then ID. We would like to return this page. Okay, let's save and give it a go. If we visit the home page, this is what we're gonna get. If we visit /create, we'll get the create page and let's say node and some ID. This is what we are gonna get. Okay, so now that we have our pages working correctly, we would like to set up React Hot Toast, which is the notification library that we can use. So this is the kind of output that we're gonna get if something done successfully, or if we have some errors, we can show this one, right? There are a bunch of different variations, but we'll mostly be using the success and error cases. So first we need to install the package. We already done this, so let's put the toaster in our application.
Convierte tu pasión en profesión con la maestría oficial en animación 3D y realidad virtual para videojuegos. Matrícula abierta, plazas limitadas, docentes de prestigio mundial, con gran flexibilidad horaria, 100% online, duración de 20 meses y un reconocimiento oficial. Vente a Tech y
So you can put it under the app.jsx, or in this case I'll put it under the main.jsx. Let's try to import it from React Hot Toast. So I'll say import the toaster from React Hot Toast. And now let's try to add a test button so that we can just test this out. I'll say click me. If we click to it, I'll say on click. Just go ahead, run this function. Let's say toast and import it from React Hot Toast, just like this. I'll say success. Now let's say congrats. Okay, let's give it a go. I'll go ahead, click to it. It works as expected. If you want to get some errors, you can put toast.error, and this should again, this is the about page. We would like to the SD cases. In our application, or in this case, .jsx. Let's try to import it. From React Hot Toast. So I'll say import the toaster from React Hot Toast. And now let's try to add a test button so that we can just test this out. I'll say click me. If we click to it, I'll say on click. Just go ahead, run this function. Let's say toast and import it from React Hot Toast, just like this. I'll say success. Let's say congrats. Okay, let's give it a go. I'll go ahead, click to it. It works as expected. If you want, let's say some open it says, and it's never. So now that this is expected, we can do it. If you want to get some errors, if you have that, this is basically how that work. We have a bunch of different CSS classes, the utility classes, and instead of creating them under the CSS file, we just put it and see how we can use every single tutorial that's outdated. Now that we would like to get started with the framework guides, specifically with Vite. Okay, so we already created a React application. So instead, we would like to install the dependencies. So I'll copy this, go under my terminal, under the front end. Let's kill this. I'll just paste this in. So this will give you the tailwind config.js file. Let's see. So we just got this. You would like to delete the entire content and instead get this one from the documentation. Paste this in, save, and finally you will update the index.css file. So copy it and you should be good to go. Paste this in. Okay, let's try to test this out. I'll add, first let me start the app. I'll say npm run dev. So I'll add some classes on this button. Let's say class or class name, text is going to be red 500. Let's say heading will be 4 from all directions. UI should be updated. Here we go. Let's add a background color as well. I'll say BG, I don't know, let's say pink of something like 300.
AI is changing the game for app development. Firebase is here to help. Easily.
Okay, so these are the extension. See what I have. Says set up a daisy.com and see this example. Tailwind CSS library that we have. Let's just try to scroll down and see this example. Now to be able to get this button, you need to write all these CSS classes without using Daisy UI. But if you use Daisy UI, all you have to do is just add a button class. You would get even a better button, right? So this button looks a lot more cleaner than the previous one, but the thing is you don't really need to type all these classes, right? And another example would be this. So if you just use Tailwind only, you need to write all these classes to get this output. But if you use Daisy UI with it, this is all you have to add. Some cards, labels, inputs, these are the class names, and you would get the exact same output, okay? And they have a bunch of different themes, like they have forest, aqua, lofi, pastel, anything that you can check out. In this tutorial, we'll be using the forest. But first, let's go ahead and set this up. Okay, so this is the beauty of Daisy UI. It'll make everything super fast. Now, we'll not be using version 5. Once again, this just came out. We would like to use a little bit more stable version. Again, this is completely up to date. Nothing is outdated. So let's say how to use. Instead of getting the latest version, we will get 4.12.24. Okay, so let's try to type this out. I'll open up my terminal. Let's say npm install daisy UI-d, but here we'd like to add 4.12.24. Okay, so it should be installed. Now let's see what is the next step. They say put the import under the tailwind config.js. So I'll go under the tailwind config.js. Under the plugins, we can just say Daisy UI and import it above. So it is exact same thing. Okay, so it should be installed. 24. Okay, so it should be installed. Put the import under the plugins. We can just say as doing require, but we are using the try to kill our application and run this again. Now we can get classes from Daisy UI. So I'll just say create a button. Let's say click me. And for the class, I can use btn and let's say btn outline. Okay, let's try to test this out.
Automatiza flujos sin escribir una sola línea de código. El control lo tienes tú, instalando N8N en tu VPS con un clic, gracias a Hostinger. Puedes crear nodos y plantillas de automatización a la velocidad de la luz en un VPS seguro. Usa una aplicación N8N preinstalada.
So here we can see the entire theme. Let's try to test this out. Fine. Okay, let's try to test this out. So here we can see the entire theme has changed. If in your case this is white, if this is a light mode, that's completely fine. We are going to, if in your case this is white, if this is a light mode, that's completely fine. We are going to fix it. Now this is the outline. We can have btn primary. So this is how that would look. And basically we have a bunch of different components. So we can go under the documentation and under the components we have different buttons. So let's try to copy every one of them. Since we are using JSX, I'll select this one, copy different really cool application you use in these, and if you type under right after the plugins, I'll say create the Daisy UI. This is the object under the themes. Let's say themes. You would want to use all of them, you can put it right here, but in this case I'll be using forest only, so I'll just leave it right here. If you you wanted to, you can delete them as well. And then you would visit the, let's say, app.jsx. Here you would say data-theme is going to be equal to forest. Let's save and take a look at it. Hopefully it should be working out. Okay, so this is the theme that we have for forest. Let's say you want to use the coffee theme. Let's go right here, include that one as well. Now you would say, I would like to use the coffee theme in my app. So now everything will change to this coffee theme, right? So this is such a beautiful feature that you get out of the box, right? It's like unbelievable. I would like to go visit VS Code, and as I said, we'll be using the forest theme. If you would like to, you can use anything that you wish, right? You can use something else, but this is what I'll have, so I'll just simplify this array. Okay, so believe it or not, that's kind of it for the entire setup. Let's try to quickly go over it. We have built a React application using Beat. We have set it up the browser router, which is the React router, right? As well as the React hot toast. We just put them right here, and then we created our pages. We have set it up the Tailwind as well as a Daisy UI. So let's delete them, by the way. So we have all of our pages, everything working correctly as expected. So in the next section, we will get started with the actual features. Alright, so let's move on with the homepage. This is the output that we are trying to build. So first, let's get started with the navbar component, where we have the logo on the left and we have this link on the right hand side. Once we click to it, it'll take us to the create page. Now, as you can tell, in our application, we are using a lot of different icons, right? Such as this one, and that one. For this, we'll be using a package. So let's go ahead and install it. Under the front end, I'll just kill this. Let's say npm install lucid-react. Go ahead and install it. And also, I'd like to install the Axios package so that we can replace our fetch API with the Axios. So let's go ahead and install that. I'll explain once we use it. Let's run our app with npm run dev and get into the homepage.jsx file. So I will create the components folder as well. The first component that we'll have will be navbar.jsx. Okay, so let's get started with the homepage. First, I'll have the class name. Let's say minimum height will be screen. So this will take the entire screen. The first thing we would like to see will be the navbar component. Let's import it and let's get into it. Now, this will not contain any logic at all. It is just UI only. So let's say this will be the header component where we can have the div within this. And let's add some classes. So I'll say the background will be base 300. We'll add the border bottom, so border-b, and I'll say border color is going to be base content, and I'd like to update the opacity. I'll just say 10. Okay, now let's save. We got this formatting. We'll go into the div. Let's say class name is going to be mx auto, maximum width of 6x large. Now, if you have never used a Tailwind previously, this might look a little bit weird. You might be asking, how do you memorize all of them? How do I learn all of them? So honestly, as you write more and more, you just get comfortable with it, right? And most of the time, nowadays we have AI. You can use AI to create UIs, but most of the time, once you just get started with it, once you build a couple of different applications, it gets really easy to write Tailwind CSS, because like you learn all these classes, right? You know how to set up a maximum width with all these classes, like you have from x large until I think 7x large, right? Okay, so all I'm trying to say, you just learn these as you build more projects with the Tailwind CSS. Now we can add padding x of 4, which is around 16 pixels, right? And then we can add padding y of 4 as well. If you say padding and 4, this will add it from all directions, right? But we only want to added from X direction and Y direction, which means from all directions. So I'll delete this and I'll say padding of 4. This is the exact same thing. Alright, so after this one, I'll create one more div. Let's say this is going to be legs, items will be centered, and then justify will be between. So we'll have the logo on the left hand side and the button on the right hand side, right? So the justify will be between, so that we can have this space between. Alright, now on the left hand side we'll have the H1, which is our logo. logo, let's say it'll be think board. For the classes, let's say text will be 3x large, which is around these values basically. Let's say font bold, text will be primary, and then you would put font dash mono, let's say tracking tight. So we have tight, tighter, or tightest. I hope I pronounced this correctly. So we have tighter. Do we have tightest? I think we don't. These are the ones that we have, and this is used for letter spacing, and this is the value that I'll be using. Let's say it'll be tight. Okay, let's try to see the output. This is how that look at the moment. Now let's try to build the right hand side. First I'll have my div, let's say class name flex item centered and gap of 4. So first we would like to have the link. Let's say import the link from React Router. When we click to it, it should take us to /create, and we can add the class name of btn and btn-primary. And then we can go ahead. Add width of physics a type not collect component in the home. See this create limit component that we would like to build. Again, it doesn't contain any logic, it just has the UI elements. So let's go ahead and try to build it. I will go under the components. I'll say rate limited UI.jsx, and here I'll create a state. Let's say use state. Let's say by default this is going to be false, and here I'd like to say rate limited and set rate limited. Okay, so basically after the navbar I'll say if we are rate limited, and let's even say is rate limited, so we can understand this is a boolean. Okay, so I'll say if is rate limited, just let's go ahead and return this component. Now once again, this component doesn't contain any logic at all. So instead of typing this out, I'll go ahead from the source code, copy and paste, and you can get this code under the components under the rate limited UI.jsx. So just go ahead, find this file and copy the entire content, paste this in. It is 20 lines of code, no logic at all, just some markup and Tailwind CSS classes. Okay, let's try to save. Here I'll say this will be true by default so that we can see it in UI. Okay, so this is the output that we have. Now please don't get mad just because we copied and pasted. This course is not about Tailwind CSS, and these are some really basic CSS classes. So that's why I'd like to skip this section where we just copy and paste the UI. Okay, now we'll go under the home page and maybe we can actually try to fetch the nodes, right? So I'll create a state, let's say nodes and set nodes. By default, this will be an empty array. So let's say use state of an empty array. And then to keep track of the loading state, we can have loading and set loading. Let's fetch that. We can create the use effect. Let's import it and initialize it.
Con el renovado programa La Paz tienes un gran poder. El poder de elegir, Descubre más opciones para acumular millas. Aprovecha más formas para canjear millas en tu día a día. Accede a los lounges LATAM y disfruta el poder de elegir tus beneficios con los bonos LATAM.
So at this point, I assume you know the basics of use effect as well as React itself, right? We have states, we have use effects, and we have JSX. So that's it, that's all. I'll say await, fetch, and then you would put the URL. So let's say http localhost is 5001/API/nodes. If we send a GET request to this, we can get all the nodes, right? I'll say const data, let's say await res.json, and then we can just say console log the data, right? Let's do it with the fetch, and then we will change this code using Axios. Let's say console dot, let's try the fetch, but if it's our get method. If you want to send a post method, you would say axios.post, so on and so forth, right? Now let's try to import it. Okay, instead of data, you would say res.data. So this is a lot more comfortable than fetch API. That's why we'll be using it. Now we have the course error, which is something that we need to take a look at. So let's save this file and go over our notes that we have. So course stands for cross-origin resource sharing. Now what does that mean? Basically, course is a browser security rule. So this has been added by default. That's why we got these errors. Now let's try to see how we can fix it, or what is the problem in the first place. So when a website tries to get data from another website, like your frontend calling an API on a different domain, right? So let's say you have a frontend at localhost 3000 and you have an API backend fetch request to get data from this API. So you called it host 3 different to make sure that, and let's see how we can do it right at a middleware. Now first we need to install a package. So I'll open up a new terminal. Let's say go under the backend, I'll say cd backend, and then I'll say npm install course. So this is the package that we'll be using to be able to get rid of that course error. Okay, so right here I'll just say app.use npm install course. So this is the package that we'll be using to be able to get rid of that course error. Okay, so right here I'll just say app.use. We would like to call the course method, the course package. Let's import it. I'll say import course from course. And by the way, the version that I'm using is 2.8.5. So when you install it, you could say, like just go under the cd backend and say npm install the exact same, to just format this a little bit. I'll have the file, import the course method, the course package. Let's import it. I'll say import course from course. And by the way, the version that I'm using is 2.8.5. So when you install it, you could say, like just go under the cd backend and say npm install course at 2.8.5 so that we could have the exact same versions. Okay, now I'd like to just format this a little bit. I'll have the package imports at the top, we'll have the route and all the local imports at the bottom. Okay, now with this, it should be good to go. This basically allows every request from every single URL, right? But if you would like to specifically add your front-end URL, you would add this object and you would add the origin. Let's say it'll be HTTP localhost and 5173, which is our front-end URL. Let's save. I think this should be an array. Is it? So let's leave it as an array. Oops. I think string would also work if you have only one value. So I'll just leave it as a string. Now let's go ahead and try to see this in action.
AI is changing the game for app development. Firebase is here to help. We offer a platform designed to support you throughout your app and business's journey, so you can rapidly build, release, monitor, and optimize apps with Google's latest AI technology. Easily build AI-powered experiences into your apps with speed and safety. Then, launch, monitor, and iterate with AI tools that help you optimize your app's quality and experience. All with assistance provided by Gemini, Google's largest and most capable AI model, helping you to work faster and smarter. Firebase helps you run your app with confidence, deliver the best experience for your users, and get to market quickly and securely, doing what you love. Make your app the best it can be with Firebase.
The way that teams brainstorm is broken. They're working on a whiteboard that's disconnected from the rest of their work, and it's killing team creativity. But for the first time, there's a platform that fixes it by combining everything you need. Whiteboards, chat, and projects in one place. It's all powered by the world's most complete work, AI, so you can create your best ideas and turn them into reality. Introducing ClickUp, whiteboards, and a whole lot more.
Now I'll refresh. Okay, currently we don't really have any errors that is related to course, right? We have a different error that we'll get into in a second. But basically, we don't really have the error that is related to course. If you delete this line, right? Let's just delete this completely. We'll get the course errors. So if you refresh, now you have the course policy error. But now, we don't really have it. We have something else. I don't know what that is. Let's try to see this in action. I think in the backend terminal, we should be able to see it. Okay, so it says title is required. Are we missing any fields under the database? Let's try to see. I don't really know why we encountered this. So we have title content for every single one of them. Okay, so I think I just found the problem. Here, I forgot to change this to be get. It should be get. it because what am I doing? Right? Got the console. So now, right now, and call to actually call this function successful states log, and then say if error dot response dot status, if it is equal to 429, throw a
Da vida a tus ideas con la maestría oficial en modelado 3D inorgánico. Matrícula.
I'll just say failed to load nodes. Let's import the toast function. Okay, and then finally I'll say loading state will be equal to false. So either we fetched it successfully or we got some errors. In either case, finally the loading state will be equal to false, right? Now let's try to update our rate limit. Here I'll go under here. Let's say we would like to have 10 requests per 20 seconds. This is just for testing purposes so that we can see the UI. So by default, we can fetch the nodes, right? I'll send a couple of different requests. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it should break. Okay, so we got 429, but for some reason UI is not updated. Let's see. I'll go right here under the home page. So I think we didn't hit this if check. First I'll add the question mark and let's say console log the error itself so that we can see the status code. I'll send another request. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so this is the error. Let's see. So we said error.response.status. So I just paused the video and debugged this a bit, and I have realized that this course configuration should be before the rate limiter. Now why is that? Because we are trying to send a response back, but we didn't set up the course, right? First, let's set this up. I'll just put it at the very beginning, and then we will add these. Now let's go ahead and test this out. I'll send a request. Let's do it a couple of times until we get rate limited. Okay, now here we can see rate limit reached, and we got this error. Under the response, the status is equal to 429, which means too many requests, right? Okay, so that was something to keep in mind, and I'm glad that we encountered this issue so that we just understand the order of these middlewares are really important. Okay, now we can go under the homepage and actually display the notes, right? So first I'd like to check for the loading state.